big news, Jon Gruden is resigning from being Raiders coach. He basically got fired. Mark Davis gave him the option to resign. He was going to get canned eventually, and it happened this soon. He had a flurry of racist and homophobic emails to Maurice Smith, who works for the NFLPA. He talked about women referees, I believe. He also made some comments toward Roger Goodell. He used the F word, the other F word that is, targeted against the LGBTQ community. And when this happened, obviously I knew Jon Gruden was going to get fired eventually. I think this sucks for Raiders fans that this is happening because now they're going to get through another rebuild. And I think it's about time that people start talking about how much Derek Carr has had to go through while being the Raiders quarterback. Mm-hmm. Derek Carr is basically what Matthew Stafford was in Detroit. The Raiders are that dysfunctional. And it's ironic that all this happened now because the other day I was watching a Dave Chappelle special, the newest one that he dropped, and he talked about...
Spoilers. I hate to hear this, but go ahead.
The message of his special kind of, of course, in the midst of all the jokes, the message of his special is how we treat different groups of minorities differently in the United States of America. And Gruden's comments about Maurice Smith, the racist that has racist connotations, racial connotations to it, those happened on Friday. Jon Gruden coached on Sunday. But what ultimately did Jon Gruden in was once those emails leaked and the Raiders didn't fire him, they said, here you go. And the anti-gay emails and the misogynistic emails came out, and that's what got Jon Gruden fired. And Dave Chappelle kind of talked about it in his special how we treat different minority groups differently, and people get canceled much easier for being anti-gay or going against the LGBTQ more than they get canned for being racist. I think if Jon Gruden's, if the only comments that came out were against Maurice Smith, I think he would still have a job.
That's a fact.
But because these other flurry of emails came out, he's getting fired, and I think deservedly so. I think he should have got fired for both.
Yeah.
But I do believe he should have got fired on Friday and not on Monday. I think it should have been happened because I think the racist email was enough to fire him.
That's special. It's new. Like that's the new one that
just came out.
The one that I think they were talking about it, how Netflix said they're gonna keep it up.
Yeah, it just came out.
Damn. Okay, I gotta watch that one. Dave Chappelle's the GOAT.
Yeah, he is.
I'm actually interested to know how many coaches actually do this. Like I'm actually interested to see how many coaches we can find in the league that are still racist or still, don't like the LGBT community. I mean, like. It's a weird situation. Like you said on Friday, I feel like he should have got fired on Friday too, because racism is something that's pretty big in our country, and it's still people are pretty aware of that, and that's something that shouldn't be tolerated. And Dave Chappelle also, he has a point in that we do treat minorities differently, and I guess it's just the way the world is, because of the way how sensitive people are, the way certain groups react. But at the same time, Jon Gruden, like you said, he was probably going to get fired regardless. This was kind of the kicker in the head. He shouldn't deserve a job at all anywhere, to be honest. Mm-hmm. And he should be blackballed from coaching anywhere in any league because this is a fucked up situation. I mean, like I'm reading up right now, and he told Goodell that that Goodell should not have pressured Jeff Fisher, the coach of the Rams at the time, to draft queers, and he was referring to Michael Sam at the time, who came out and spoke about how he was gay. So I think shit like that, and I have people, I know people that are gay. I have friends that are gay. I have, so it's like, it's nothing. I don't see a problem with it. Jon Gruden, clearly he has a problem with black people. He has a problem with gays. We can't have people like that in the NFL, which is like a big community, and we should open up more to that. I just don't understand his mindset. I don't understand how they didn't know this coming in. And like you said, they probably weren't going to fire him if all these emails didn't pop up, and he was probably going to still have a job.
To backpack off but what both of you guys said, there's jokes that are funny, and then there's jokes that are clearly not at all, and some that just take things to a level that it should never go to. Jon Gruden made multiple of these in these emails. Whether he will tell you or not that, he has no malicious intent in what he's saying, sometimes you need to think a little bit before you speak. And obviously these are emails, these aren't actual words, but if he were actually on the phone, I was talking to my brother about this. never leave a paper trail. If you're going to do something dirty, you got to do it over the phone. You do it over email, you do it over text, you're going to get busted. There's an old man acting the way that he's probably acted his entire life, and he's finally paying the price for being, to a degree, a terrible person. Like you said, Riv, I don't think he'll ever coach in the NFL. He can kiss the Hall of Fame goodbye. This is one of the more highly regarded head coaches in the NFL today. Off what he did 20 years ago in 2001, I believe, when he brought the Buccaneers to the Super Bowl. But no one's going to remember him for what he did on the field now. Sure, there'll be the football heads that remember what Jon Gruden was as the coach, but ultimately what he should be remembered now is as a terrible human being.
I mean, I agree with what all three of you really said about Jon Gruden. I don't think there's a place for that in the NFL or in any league in particular. This is a guy, like, when I used to watch he used to do Monday Night Football and everything, and the quarterback rooms, like, I used to, like, I don't want to say look up to him, but I would look forward.
Grinders.
Yeah, Gruden grinders. I would look forward to watching him, and just hearing about all those emails that were leaked and everything, it just changed my perspective as him. And, like, just backpacking off what Drew said, I mean, no one's going to remember him for that Super Bowl win in 01 with a quarterback that wasn't really that good.
Yeah, for real.
You know what I mean? So, and another thing, I don't really know what's going to happen with his contract situation because he was making a lot of money. So he's not making that anymore, right? Once you're terminated from the NFL, you get
$100 million
guaranteed.
deal.
he ruined the bag.
I think that
I don't
money,
know either.
That money, I believe, was guaranteed.
Yeah, man.
But Gruden
Oof.
said, "I won't steal from the Raiders." Now that he resigned, and we'll see if he takes that money. I think it was good that you brought ESPN up because they put out a statement about Gruden and how it's unacceptable. He did this while he was working for ESPN.
Yeah.
So ESPN was oblivious to this, but I give them the benefit of the doubt. It's not like they knew that Gruden was doing this while he was there. It's just a bad situation all around, and I think this is something that's going to tear the Raiders apart for this entire season.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think they'll bounce back from this, and the interim head coach, Risk Basadi, I believe, he's a special teams coach. He's now the head coach, the interim head coach. He was Jon Gruden's right-hand man. He is Jon Gruden's best friend.
He could be racist too.
He could have all those same feelings. And if Jon Gruden has trusted him and has brought him along on his coaching staff time and time again, I don't doubt it. I would have probably made Gus Bradley the interim head coach because he just came in. He might be cool with Gruden, but he doesn't have ties to his coaching staff for so many years. I'm not too sure about this interim head coach. I think the Raiders are going to clean house after this season regardless. We'll see if Mike Mayock stays there as well. But this is all around just a horrible, horrible situation. And I was talking to my cousin about it, and my cousin didn't quite understand why the remark that Gruden made towards Maurice Smith was racial. Because I can understand where that confusion comes in because the remark was basically making fun of his lips. He said that his lips they're as big as Michelin tires, right? And on the surface, it doesn't sound like a racial remark because you're comparing somebody's facial feature to an object. It doesn't sound racial, but you have to understand the connotations behind how cartoons and shows have portrayed black people throughout history. That's like somebody calling me, nicknaming me rice and beans. That has racial connotations because I'm Spanish. So I think that's why, if you didn't understand why that comment was racial, that's why that comment was racial. But I think next up should be Dan Snyder. Yeah. For the Washington football team. I think next up should be him.
And it reminds me, you guys ever seen that movie Freedom Writers?
Yeah.
You remember the scene where the kids made a little drawing of the black kid with the big lips and then put it all around and she got upset. It's the same thing like that. Black people have been portrayed as having big lips. That's been a racist problem for a while. So I understand. He probably, I get it if your cousin didn't understand it at the moment. You kind of just got to explain it. But like you said, I feel like best friend to Jon Gruden, you got to get everybody out of there. If you my best friend, I'm a racist. Like, if you my best friend, you know me. Yeah, you know I'm a homophobe. You might be that with me because you accept me for who I am. You're my best friend, so you accept that I am that type of person. So if that's the case, if he accepts that, there's a possibility he could be the same type birds flock together. He can be the same type of guy Jon Gruden is.
Yeah.
You got to get him out of there. I mean, the whole clan got to go. Like him, like I'm not like anybody that was friends or close ties with Jon Gruden has to be gone because you can't have that type of actions in the NFL.
Don't the Raiders have an active gay player on their roster right now?
Carl
Nassib,
Nassib.
Oh my God, I would love to hear
probably
what
wanted
he
to
thinks
deck
about all
Jon
of
Gruden,
this.
like.
That's super
Yeah, no, that makes
unfortunate,
sense.
man.
We'll see it in the press conference sooner rather than later. You probably already spoke about it.
It's crazy because like just watching them throughout all these years, commentate, interview the best quarterbacks coming into the draft. I would have never thought that this guy was like that.
Carl Nassib came out when Jon Gruden got hired. It was at that same time.
Man,
That's interesting. But I don't know how you can have these kind of thoughts. Meanwhile, you're surrounded by African-American players or black players.
He probably
of any
hated his
sort.
job.
I
think
don't
so.
know that, man. I
loves
just
football.
think that the head coaches have a power trip. If you think about all the times you played basketball, you played basketball. I played baseball. I played basketball too.
Okay, athlete.
These coaches, did I miss? I didn't miss. You look at some of the coaches that we probably had over the years. These coaches felt like they had this authority over us, and now you get to the highest level that you could possibly get to. It's multiply that times 30, times 40. Like these guys definitely are over the top in terms of when it comes to we're doing things my way, and they see these African American players, and they are probably more stronger in that belief towards them than they are regular white people in the NFL.
If I was a Raiders fan, I'd just be happy that Jon Gruden didn't prematurely trade or release Derek Carr because there was rumors about it that Jon Gruden didn't vibe with Derek Carr all that well. So I'm just glad Derek Carr's still there if I'm a Raiders fan because they could start off the season with Marcus Mariota. He would have been their guy.
I know they were high on Marcus last season at least.
Yeah.
Boy, it's poop.
Jon Gruden loved Marcus Mariota coming out the draft.
I mean, this season seemed like it was going to be the same old Raiders season. They start out really hot, and then they towards the middle half of the schedule they start going down.
3-2 at the moment.
8-8.
What was your prediction? Your overreaction?
Overreaction was they make the playoffs.
Oh yeah, you're wrong now.
Hey, but your first statement was that they wouldn't win a home.
I'm
game in the
good. I'm good so
division.
far right
it's
now.
It's possible
Yeah,
they
good
might
so
not
far.
win the game in the division.
I'm good so far.
I do think Derek Carr is great enough of a leader that he's gonna rally.
He'll get a
this team.
couple.
Yeah, I don't think that they're just gonna fall off. I think Derek Carr is gonna rally that locker room and get some wins.
They
He's that
got
great.
Denver this week.
That could be a win.
Legit could. No, it could. Stop.
It's a division game, so obviously anything.
But I
can
need
happen.
you guys to win.
So you look good. Hey,
Yes,
I got
I need you guys to
They're
win.
not gonna go. They're not gonna go winless within their division.
Stop.
That would be crazy, bro.
Listen, they're 0-1 right now. Give us some time.
Yeah.
The Jets might do that this year.
You guys.
That's without a doubt. But regardless of that, the Raiders are interesting because obviously their defense is spotty. There's some weeks that it looks good, some weeks it looks bad. Overall, I'm not high on the Raiders' defense. And offensively, I don't know. Their offensive line is shaky still. Darren Waller really hasn't been like that other than week 1 where he had 19 targets, a ridiculous amount, and he had an excellent game. But it's like it just seems as if there's not one player consistently doing it for them other than Derek Carr to a degree. But these last couple of weeks, Derek Carr's looked all right, truthfully. And maybe it's finally the O-line and the pressure actually getting to him, the lack of run game. I don't know what it is, truthfully, but there's a lot of things going on that I'm not believing in the Raiders.
The whole team's in
You try to throw jabs at the Jets, and
he literally said, "We're not going to win a game."
I said it could happen to the Jets.
Yeah, that's what he said. He said
Might
it's
be the
likely.
Dolphins,
I
though.
laughed. That's he.
the reason why
might be the
JC
Dolphins.
says that is because the AFC East isn't particularly good. I think the Jets could have won a game in the AFC East, but
It's
the
the
team at
Dolphins.
the top right now is the Bills.
It's
And
hilarious though because you told me before the Falcons game we're gonna win and Zach's gonna go out there and he's gonna have a
It was
dance
close.
and you lost.
He had to dance in the fourth quarter.
Good job.
He was doing bachata out there.
Yo, why
They
is he
lost.
so trash in the first half?
I don't know.
The team.
I think that game was mostly him.
I forgot what you. Yeah, it was. He's right. I forgot what you put out. It was like first half Jets are this, second half Jets.
No,
are
it's first half. Zach Wilson's Drew Lock.
That's what it was.
Second half, he's Josh
I'm
Allen.
dead. That's so facts.
We have no running backs.
Now, Michael Carter looked good.
Mike Carter's pretty good.
He's not that good, bro.
I just think
To
that
me,
your
he's
O line
not
right
that.
now,
He's
which is
not.
fair.